Hey everybody, my next guest is a producer, comedian, actor, and voiceover artist. He is now doing his one-man show, The Shoemaker's Son, right in his hometown of Astoria, Queens. Here he is, folks, GREG KRITIKOS.
Don SILL. Wow. What? I don't know what. Let me know what your Venmo is, and I'll definitely forward you some money for that one.
So how you been, man? What have you been up to?
Oh my God. Busy as heck, and I'm grateful to be busy. It's a good thing. Once again, I appreciate being on your show. Thank you so much for having me. And yeah, man, my one-man show is finally here, and I'm super excited. It's being I'm actually having it in Astoria, Queens, at the Hellenic Cultural Theater. It's on the corner of Newtown and
Wow.
Crescent Street, very well-known theater. And yeah, I'm doing my one-man show, and there's going to be 4 acts, and I'm talking about my whole life. Immigrating from Greece back in 1971 and going straight to Astoria and being in Astoria. Yeah, and it's titled The Shoemaker's Son. As you know, my dad was a shoemaker in Greece, and then when we immigrated to the United States, he opened up a shoe repair shop. And
Wow.
yeah, that's the title. GREG KRITIKOS presents The Shoemaker's Son: Stories from Astoria.
I think that's so awesome that you got to put this one-man show together and kind of chronicle your whole life, because it is kind of cool, kind of migrating in from Greece and growing up in Astoria, Queens, and now it all comes full circle as you do your one-man show right there at the theater. Is this a theater that you went to a lot too as a kid?
Oh, actually, the theater has been newly renovated. It's been fixed. A lot of investors are taking over to keep the arts going in Astoria, and that's the same theater that we produced the storytelling, the Meth Show.
Oh yeah.
So now the theater is actually opened up, so a lot of young creative artists are booking the theater. And yeah, I mean, it's a beautiful black box theater. It seats about 184 seats. So we got all sound, screens, everything. So I'm really looking forward working with Mike Rockwitz, obviously, as usual, and Laura Spaeth. She's helping me, while I'm writing this and all that, and she's going to be kind of directing. And
Cool.
I'm in the movie industry, as you know, Don. And I'm a big fan of yours also. I love your directing, and I'm hoping to work with you in the future.
Yeah, man, for sure.
The difference between movies, obviously, and as well, and theater is, in theater you have to remember what you were saying. There's
Right.
no cut, do it again.
Right,
There's no
yeah.
let's shoot the scene. It's okay if you fuck it up like 10 times. So the goal here is, yeah, just to get on stage, move to certain locations. And it's the first time, my first one-man show. And growing up as a kid, I remember watching John Leguizamo's Freak.
Oh
I
yeah,
never
yeah.
Tom Terry's A Bronx Tale, even though Bronx Tale was filmed in Astoria, Queens. A little suspect there, but anyway. But yeah, it's exciting times, and I'm excited, man. I'm really excited about doing this. 4 acts, and I talk about landing in Astoria, and then from there, it goes into my early childhood and teenage years, and all the great things that I went through in life, and it touches up on the bottoms.
Yeah, man.
Can't appreciate life if you haven't hit that bottom yet. You know what I mean? That's coming from me anyway. Not that everybody's life has to hit a bottom, but yeah. But for the most part, I'm very super excited. This is like one of the biggest projects that I put together in my life. So
This is
excited.
huge, man. A big one-man show. You have to kind of delve back into your life and go through it all. But this is exciting times. When did the idea spark that you wanted to kind of start writing this stuff and eventually turning it into a one-man show?
Well, obviously, as a headliner, comedian, and I've done shows where I'm on stage for like close to an hour, and about 5 years ago, right before the pandemic, I was writing, and I've done some work in the past for Stories from Astoria, which I have a whole lookbook together, and we're presenting it, hopefully in the future, as a TV series. So I've done a lot of writing for that. And and somebody, I forgot who approached me. It was somebody said, Greg, you're doing all these shows, you're headlining across the country. Have you ever thought about putting together a one-man show? And it resonated in my head. And then I started looking into it. And then after the pandemic, when things started opening up again, I started writing and putting it on the side. So as you're writing, and what's cool about this is that this is my autobiography. This is my book right here.
Yeah.
So I'm taking all this writing, which one day is probably going to go into my book, my autobiography, The Shoemaker's Son. So, and I'm just, so about 5 years ago came to me, and now it's finally coming to life,
Wow. Yeah, man. That's a, a lot of work to kind of write that. Now you talk about the bottoms and the tough times. Is it kind of hard to delve in? Or is it cathartic to kind of delve into those times and remember them and relive it kind of?
Yeah, well, as you know, and I'm not shy, I put it out there all the time. I'm in sobriety. And on March 2nd, I just celebrated 12 years of sobriety.
God bless, man.
March, thank you. Thank you. So March has always been like this, the Ides of March, as they say. I'm going to be 60 in March. March 24th is my birthday. I've been incarcerated in March. I got sober in March. My mother-in-law passed away in March. My father died in March. So March has been like this big, like, this weight on me always. And I feel like now that I'm actually writing and touching base with my sobriety, because when I got sober March 2nd, I had hit the bottom. And the bottom is, for me, it was 385 pounds, smoking crack, drinking a fifth of Dewar's. My health fell apart. So, yeah, going into all that now, I'm reliving it and I'm actually writing about it. And now I'm at the stage where I'm starting to, being on stage and, going through rehearsals. And I got to click into that little part because I believe, as a sober addict, alcoholic / addict, a part of me had to die so all of me could live, Don.
Yeah, yeah.
And so that part of me that's dead, I have to relive it. I have to go back there and talk about how, how it was, because as an alcoholic and an addict, one of the things that I stress on, because I do a lot of motivational speaking, I give it away. In order to keep what I have to give it away. And, and that's one of the priceless things of being in sobriety, helping another person. And I talk about how addicts and alcoholics, or anybody, with that, addictive personality, because we're human beings, man. I don't think there's one person I'm not addicted to anything.
Right.
I don't. I think whether it's an Oreo cookie or, if you're addicted to watching Bugs Bunny cartoons, whatever it is, you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Obviously, all that time and energy that you're putting into that. So, it comes. But when I'm dealing with addicts and alcoholics, I always remind them that alcoholics and addicts, I believe and I feel, are some of the most successful people on the planet, because at 385 pounds, Don, at my bottom, no tsunami, no earthquake, no nothing could stop me from going to cop my crack and alcohol.
Right,
so if I take that and I spin it on a positive note, you know what I mean, Don? It's like, the sky's not the limit. The starting line, the finish line, excuse me, is just the beginning.
Right.
So, so, reliving it and going back in there, it is challenging. I have to, but, I'm an artist. I'm an actor as well as a comedian. So, I'm really looking forward to putting the show on and just reliving, that bottom that I hit with everybody. But it is emotional for me, going back into that period of life, because, drinking and drugging for a long time and then finally hitting that bottom.
And then, the that's the inspiration of it all, is that you overcame that. You hit your bottom, but you managed to climb out of it. And that's why I think this kind of a story of your life is going to make for such a great show, because it has everything that's real in it. You know what I mean? And turning a negative. No, I'm just saying, turning that negative into a positive, man. God bless you. And here you are, now on stage at the the theater in Astoria, Queens, getting to tell your story about a kid from Astoria.
Yeah, and that kid, I landed in Astoria on the day when it came to America. It was snowing, and my opening act, it's like welcome to Astoria, and those are the first words that I heard when I got off the plane. And my father was waiting for us because that's how we did it back then. Usually the father would come with the mother and they would work and save some money. And then let's send the rest of the family over,
Right.
and,
Yeah.
and it was snowing. And I remember being in awe. I'd never seen snow before. That was the first time in my life, Don, that I saw snow. And I was like,
Wow.
wow. And I remember opening my palm and a snowflake landing in my hand and looking at it and dissolving. And immediately I stuck my tongue out and I wanted to taste a snowflake. Here I am, like this little boy, I was chasing it. And going into the act, I go into before I left Greece, my Aunt Dimitra, God rest her soul, she gave me 3 pennies, and I was just a little boy, and I looked at her, I go, "Is this gold? Is this gold?" She goes, "No, Greg, they're pennies, and I'm giving them to you. That way you could buy some candy when you go to America." So for 3 cents and 71, Don, I'm sure, I don't know if you're younger than me, I got some candy with 3 pennies.
Right. There you go, man. When you were putting this together, like you said, took 5 years. Like, were you bouncing this off of anybody else? Were you working this in and your stand-up routine? Were you kind of how have you been working this out prior to this? I know now you're probably time of rehearsals and things like that, but
Right.
the creative process, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Because again, comedy comes from pain. That's how I feel about a comedian, and so you do stand up as well. So obviously, like when I incorporate some comedy into my one man show, like the fact that coming to the United States and asking my father for allowance. We didn't have allowance in Greece. So when I spit it on the comedy, and I tell people, yeah, the first time I asked my father for allowance, he looked at me and said, "Allowance? What's this allowance?" I go, "You're allowed to give me money. You're allowed." And my father's like, "Am I allowed to kick the shit out of you too?" I'm like, "Yeah, but that would be overtime. You would have to pay extra.
Right.
So yeah, incorporating a lot of my comedy into my one man show. But the ultimate goal, as you know, is to touch them. I want them to laugh. I want to hear that belly laugh. As a comedian, the greatest reward is listening to somebody just giving you that belly laugh where they're peeing in their pants, and at the same time, hopefully, get them to touch them. You know what I mean? And get them to understand the pain. Again, it's everything's been incorporated and bouncing it off people, other artists like Laura Spaeth. Again, like I said, she's done her one man show. Mike Rockwitz. Mike is my best friend, and also obviously we worked together at Legendary Entertainment, and he was the youngest editor, as you know, to work with Stan Lee, Marvel Comics.
Oh yeah,
He's
right.
doing all my stage backgrounds, all the graphics, all the colors. And Mike and I have been going back and forth. And even Mike said, "Greg, it's time. You should do your one man show." So yeah, it's like I said, it's really exciting, scary at the same time. I mean, obviously, you're always afraid of and but I just jump into the work, Don. Just jump into it, and whatever happens, happens. As long as I know that I'm giving it my 100%, I'm happy.
Right on, man. Um, when is it debuting again? It's coming
April
soon.
29th. April 29th. It's a Saturday night at 8 p.m. Doors open 7:30. There's going to be some beverages in the venue as well. I have the link to it. You can find it on GREG KRITIKOS or my Facebook, Gregorius Kritikos, and all that. And it's a week after, on April 22nd, we're back with the Meth, and I'll be in Manhattan with Theodore Angelis, Tara Sedga, Mike Rockwitz again. That's the storytelling show. We have a special surprise guest in Manhattan. So in April, yeah, April 22nd and April 29th, those are back-to-back, like real bigs. But the big one, obviously, is the Shoemaker's Son. And it's going to be, obviously, videotaped. It's going to be going to get footage and all that. And I'm super excited because we're going to package it up. And then from there, we're going to definitely bring it to a network.
Cool. So this is this show is a one and done. Like, it's not going on the road. You're not going to tour it or anything like that.
At this moment, I want to get the footage, obviously,
Yeah.
and I'm working on some great DPs, and again, director, and all that. And no, I want to do more. Absolutely. I mean, I got that bug. I love doing, I like the theater when I did the Meth. which was exciting. And I remember the last time I was talking to you, the first time I was ever on stage, I was just a little boy, because when I immigrated to the United States, I was on a show. I was in the play when I was a boy, and I played the Sky God. And I remember sitting on stage while the curtains opened up, and I saw a sea of people. You know, our auditorium must have held about 250 people, and it was a packed house. And I
Yeah.
remember, so since then I got bit by that bug, and I loved it. You know what I mean? So I always wanted to do theater. You know, I get people all the time like, "You got a great voice. You should really do theater, theatrical stuff." You know, and I'm like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, I like it." But again, remembering and because I love improv as well. You know, I'm a big fan of improv, but this has got to be all the pieces, all the elements have to come together, because you know, when I'm moving around, when I move to another section, then from there the sound, the lighting, all that comes to play all together. So again, it's a great challenge for me, and I love it, man. I'm learning as I go along. You know.
Yeah. What would you say is some of the challenges throughout the process?
Um, well, you know, I mean, remembering for me is a big, you know, thing. You know, I have a little bit of a hard time remembering, even when I was starring in Tomorrow's Today, when I got the lead role in that. You know, there's times where you forget your lines and all that, and you know, so now it's like I got to constantly rehearse, and I'm doing it by sections. So that's a big challenge for me. You know, uh, everything else is just like, you know, it's creative. Like, I've been a very creative person all my life. I love creativity. I jump into it. You know, I'm always
Yeah.
willing to learn. I'm always willing to, you know, making a mistake. If you don't make mistakes, you're not going to get better. That's the bottom line. We learn from our mistakes. So the challenge is always there. uh as a one-man play, you know, I guess altogether it's just making sure that I'm comfortable on stage and overcoming that, you know, and you know, mostly having fun. You know what I mean? That's what it's all about, you know.
Do you
And
have like, I was gonna say, do you have
that,
like a plan in place, like a kind of like, I worked in sports. We did all the video boards for the jumbotron, so we worked in a live environment too. Like if I'm at like an Atlanta Falcons game or something,
right.
we have what you call the oh shit button. So like if things go wrong, we click the oh shit button, and then it will go to like the logo rocker or something. Do you have
Gotcha.
like that kind of?
Yeah, yeah. I think I have a lot of oh shit buttons. You know, I probably have a ton of oh shit buttons. But what's really, okay, it's interesting you said that, because I was talking to my director earlier today. We were talking about there's going to be props on stage, obviously. So as I'm approaching a certain part of the stage and I see a prop and I pick it up, that right there is going to kick in to the dialogue that goes with the prop. You know
Right.
what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yep.
So I'm kind of working it right now, where each prop is in order, and then you have the lights out, and then all the second team of props go on there. So the oh shit buttons, yeah, absolutely. Because if I grab, like, there's part of, you know, and I have no problem just giving a little bit. Is like when I immigrated to the United States. It's funny you said that. You know, I wanted to play baseball. I loved baseball. My father, he was a professional soccer player. You know, my
Yeah.
father, the first time he saw me actually suiting up for football, I was a little boy. He goes, "What is this, Halloween?" I was like, "No, Halloween, it's sports." He goes, "Sports and baseball, you hit the ball with a stick." I, I go, "Yeah." He goes, "And they call it the World Series." He goes, "There's only Canada and America. Where's the world?" He goes, "I don't see anybody else. You know, where's Italy, Spain, Greece, you know?" He goes, "There's no finesse, no Pele." So part of it, when I get into it, the props is right there in the baseball, and I talk about baseball, sports, and all that. So yeah, there's the strategy that I'm using and working on with my director and all that is the props are coming along and all that. So God forbid if there is a no shit situation, hopefully I can just come around to it and so forth. You know,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
gonna be it's close to 35 minutes up front, or possibly 40. We might go 40. Then there's going to be an intermission. And then after that, we do probably another 25 or 30. So, you know, and the lights off and all that. And dressing, you know, because I've broken it down to 4 different parts of my life. And I don't know if you and I have ever spoken about it. When I first immigrated to the United States, my mother used to give me weird haircuts and dress me funny. So I got to reenact all that stuff, you know? So, you know, anybody that comes to the show is going to get a laugh, and they're going to, especially the first 2 acts, and then we get a little dark, obviously, you know, and then the light shine, because as an artist and as a writer, I truly believe that it is our darkest moments in life that truly makes us shine brightest on our path.
Right on.
Right.
Yeah,
So
sometimes
yeah,
those are the moments that define you, because that's when the crossroads happens, and
absolutely.
I commend you for writing about that stuff, because it's not easy, and then reenacting it and kind of reliving it, and then sharing that with the world too. Not that's not easy to do either, is to have everyone see what your lowest points were, and all that stuff. So I think it's going to be great, because it is going to um make you laugh, because it's who you are. You're a comedy, just a naturally funny person, and then to the emotions too. So
Right.
it's going to give a full scale of roller coaster of emotions. you
Yeah,
know
yeah, exactly. You hit it right on the head. The roller coaster of emotions, and reliving it and acting it with the ability to act. Because I've always loved acting. I admired
yeah.
acting. And congrats to you with your movie out, that the last movie that you were working on, and
Thanks,
so forth.
man. Yeah.
You're involved in numerous productions, and yeah, it's always fun. But overall, however, I hate to use the word, but you know, it's another part of the growing, the learning, and I got sober at 48, Don. And for a large period of my life, I had lost those years in depression. Again, heavily use of alcohol and cocaine, and then grown to a crack addiction. And sometimes when I see artists and they talk about crack and all that, not too many of them actually live that.
Right.
I smoked crack for a very long time, so I know what it's like to really hit that bottom. And Richard Pryor, God bless his soul, he talked about how he was on it, but there was times where I heard some shit too. I don't know if it was the pipe calling me, but I know something was calling me. I don't know
Right.
what it was, but you know what I mean. So I think it just adds to the depth of being who I am and continuing to grow, and working with people like you and other people. And I admire your work. I love the fact that you're also a director, and you do what you do. It's that vision that we have, and I want to share that with my my fellowship, my friends out there as well, But most of all, it's for the people out there to understand that, yeah, one person can come back from a very low bottom in their life. So redemption is real.
Right on, man. Right on, man. And it's huge what you're doing. I'm very proud of what you're doing. I
Thank
can
you.
imagine how proud you must feel. What's been the most rewarding out of this process?
Um, I think overall, my son getting to see me, because he had seen me at my low points of my life. He was only 6 years old, but coming out of it, still being alive, gratitude, man. So many of my friends, God rest their soul, they're not here no more. So this is a part of, for me, for everybody. This is a rewarding for me, but I want a lot of people to share it and to understand that it wasn't only me, because of the love and that I have for the arts and the people and all that. And my mom and dad, God rest them, I lost both of them back to back. I lost my mom in 2021. I lost my dad in 2020.
God
And
bless, man.
and when I got sober, one of the regrets that I had is that my father never got to see who I came. He knew who I was, as a kid. He bailed me out of so many situations and stuff. And then when I got sober, I remember going up to him and hugging him and doing that. But he had already. I was in such a low point of depression in my life. And then when I went to 7 days of detox, 3.5 months of rehabilitation, and came and approached him, by that time he had Alzheimer's full blown, and he
Oh
never
man.
really he never really got to see me. But I know deep down in my heart that he's up there looking, smiling down. I
Oh
really
yeah.
believe in all that, So yeah, this is for just everybody that got to see me in sobriety and my fellowship, the people that are sober and everything. So it's a reward that we could all share.
Yes, indeed, man. And I know your parents are definitely both watching down, very proud of you right now for doing this, because you rose above it all, dude. You're getting ready to perform a one-man show about your life in the theater, dude. It's huge. And
Yeah,
it doesn't get much bigger than that. So hopefully big things happen with it. You're shooting it. You said you're gonna try to pitch it and make it into
yeah,
something, right?
yeah, absolutely, man. That's the goal here. And yeah, I wanna, like, this is the first one I'm putting together. So obviously, from what I've heard from other people, other artists that have put together one-man show. You know, you do one and then you do another one, and then it gets better and better. You know, but this is the first one, and coming out of the gate is very important to me. You know, so and acting, I love acting, and just reliving, you know, my life. You know, it's going to be fun, and hopefully, people are buying their tickets. You know, I'm super excited. I know sales are going okay, and now that I'm on your podcast, hopefully I'll get some people to come out as well. You know, and
Yeah, I'll put the information right up there for everybody to see it.
I know,
Yep.
and thank you so much, Don. You know, you're a big, good friend and a supporter, and I support you as well. And it's always a pleasure talking with you, man. Because, and I really thank you so much for having me on your show. You
Yeah,
know,
man.
and
Always,
you
dude.
know, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I know we have to connect on stage somehow. You know, at a comedy show. I know last time we tried putting something together, but it didn't work out. You were busy. I was busy.
I actually was in. I go back and forth to North Carolina a lot, and that's where my grandkids are. So yeah, it turned out to
Oh,
be a weekend I was going to be away.
good.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. And we were together on the Benny Rizzuti show. That's
yeah,
when I
man.
first met you.
Yeah,
Had a lot of fun on that show.
good times, man. And we also got to get you on the Knock 'em Dead comedy show, the morning show with Tony Walker. I told you about Governors.
Yeah,
Yeah, so we'll
yeah,
set
yeah.
that up too, and we could set that up right to promote like late. We could do it later in April if you want, and then just this way it's closer to the date.
Absolutely. I would love to. I'd be more than happy to come out there and see you again. And hopefully I'll see you in person and all that, man.
Yeah, for sure,
And
dude. I'll make sure to come out.
yeah, no doubt about it, man. And once again, thank you again. It's been a pleasure. And I got a couple of shows. Like I said, April 22nd, I'm going to be in Manhattan for the storytelling show. And then April 29th, the big one, the one-man show. This Sunday coming up, I have a show that I'm always doing, which you're always welcome whenever you want to stop by. Stop through Broadway's Got Talent. I do Sunday nights at 8 o'clock, usually the last Sunday of the month. So once a month, I'm at Broadway. And then I'll be at Bell Boulevard. I got a couple of dates. So they can find all this information on GREG KRITIKOS, my Instagram, GREG KRITIKOS on Facebook. And, you know, and then, yeah, just keep promoting and stuff like that, man. I love that shark in the back, man. I'm looking at you. It looks like the shark is about to bite your ear, man. He's like coming out of the wall. And then, I don't know if he's going for your head or he's going for the guitar.
Yeah, he's taking a chunk out of my. Greg, man, thanks so much for taking the time, man. I can't wait to see this. The Shoemaker's Son is going to be awesome.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much for having me once again. You know, say hello to the wife. And I didn't know you had grandchildren in Carolina.
Yeah.
You look good, man. You look great. You know. God bless. Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much, bro. It's been a beautiful ride so far. And thank you for having me.
Hey, man, right back at you, brother. Thanks.